Alright, welcome to Pop Pop Summer School. I'm gonna need you to go get a notebook, okay? And I want you to drop your answers in the comments for the algorithm, okay? But I also want you to have a notebook. Not an iPad, not your phone notes, solid notebook and a pen or a pencil. We come to Pop Pop's class prepared. And we're gonna learn some reading comprehension. And we're gonna start with the basics. I wanna see where y'all are at. Something tells me a lot of y'all are not further than this. So we're gonna start with a little parable. One beautiful spring morning, a merchant loaded his donkey with bags of salt to go to the market in order to sell them. The merchant and his donkey were walking along together. They had not walked far when they reached a river on the road. Unfortunately, the donkey slipped and fell into the river and noticed that the bags of salt loaded on his back became lighter. There was nothing the merchant could do except return home, where he loaded his donkey with more bags of salt. As they reached the slippery riverbank, now deliberately, the donkey fell into the river and wasted all the bags of salt on its back again. The merchant quickly discovered the donkey's trick. He then returned home again but reloaded his donkey with bags of sponges. The foolish, tricky donkey again set on its way. On reaching the river, he again fell into the water. But instead of the load becoming lighter, it became heavier. The merchant laughed at him and said, "You foolish donkey, your trick had been discovered. You should know that those who are too clever sometimes overreach themselves." Now, we're going to discuss this parable. I'm going to ask you some questions. I want you to put your answers down in the comments, but I also want you to keep them in your notebook, okay? That way you can go back and look at this again. So here are your first questions. What is the text mainly about? A, a wise man. B, a stupid man. C, how to make salt. Or D, how to cross rivers. Number 2, how did the merchant punish the donkey? A, by hitting it. B, by cutting its hair. C, by loading it with more salt. Or D, by loading it with bags of sponges. Now here's some more questions I have for you. Why did the donkey's bag get lighter when it entered the river? Explain one way that, as the merchant states, those who are too clever sometimes overreach themselves. Can you think of a time when your belief that you were clever got you into trouble? Do not use ChatGPT. You may look up any words that you don't understand, but you are not to use ChatGPT. You need to have a think, okay? You need to understand the merchant's motivations and the donkey's motivations. Because if we can learn the merchant's motivations and the donkey's motivations, and we can answer all these questions, we can start learning how to figure out the motivations of people. And that's a good thing.